The affordable housing fight is taking center stage today in City Hall, with landlords on one side and a majority of the City Council on the other. A bill making landlords responsible for paying brokers' fees instead of renters is expected to pass this afternoon. But the mayor, well, he says it may end up costing renters more in the long run. Listen.
Affordability is a real issue in the city. People are leaving the city because it's just too expensive. If you pass the cost on, think this for a moment, if you pass the cost on to the small property owners, nothing stops, and that law stops them from building it into their rent.
So the bill would be a game changer for apartment hunters, right? And here to tell us more about it is the Brooklyn City Councilman leading the charge, Chi Ossé, about this. So good morning to you, Councilman. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
I think this is a bill where so many New Yorkers, if not all people who rent, can feel, because everybody's kind of dealt with this whole broker fee aspect and it being astronomical with the first month, last month security deposit. It could be thousands of dollars up front. And that was your experience, right? So talk about your experience and how that kind of parlayed into wanting to do something about it.
Absolutely. So 2 years ago, I was looking for an apartment within my own district in Bed-Stuy, and it was impossible to find one without being forced to pay a broker fee. I would go to various different listings, show up, there would be no broker there, and then when I wanted to sign a lease, I would be ending up having to pay $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 to a broker I never hired or met.
Because you found the listing online.
I found the listing online, either word of mouth from a friend, and so many prospective tenants in New York City are dealing with that. 9 times out of 10, when you're looking for an apartment, you show up, you find it on your own, and then at lease signing, you're paying a fee of 15 to 30% of your annual rent to a broker that your landlord hired.
And this is what you're hoping will put an end to that. What do you say to the mayor then, who says this may backfire, because then the landlords may in turn charge you more in rent to make up for paying for that broker fee themselves?
Absolutely. That's a great question, and the mayor is very incorrect on this. 47% of housing for tenants in New York City is rent stabilized housing, so it would be impossible and illegal for landlords to bake the fee into the rent in those cases. In addition to that, rents are set by market forces and what tenants can pay. If your landlord could increase your rent tomorrow, they would have done so yesterday. I actually believe that the passing of this bill would put a downward pressure on rents. It gives tenants more bargaining power, more mobility when it comes to release signing, and it gives them more accessibility when it comes to finding new homes.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying about the market value and everything, right? But wouldn't this be built into the market value, right? Because a landlord might say, well, now I got to pay this, however much it may be, say it's $6,000 broker fee up front. Let me bake that into the rent.
Sure. In the smallest case that happens, many tenants do not want to pay that upfront fee of moving into a new apartment.
Okay.
The average cost of first-time fees for moving into an apartment is over $10,000. Eliminating that cost and splitting it up over 12 or 24 months allows people to move into new apartments. I've heard from people within my district, prospective tenants who are single mothers who are dealing with domestic violence, working class families, union members who cannot save multiple paychecks just to move into a new apartment. So splitting that fee in the smallest case, if it's baked into those rents over 12 or 24 months, will allow people to move into more apartments.
And for a lot of folks, sometimes there are hidden fees, right?
Yeah.
And this bill would require the landlords to specifically itemize every fee, right? Because how much could that add up to sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing some fees, especially for rent stabilized units, where brokers are charging $20,000 for folks to move into new apartments. This is robbing hardworking Americans of dollars that they don't have, right? I believe that this bill would make the housing process a bit more easier for so many New Yorkers. It'll allow people to move freely from home to home. Of course, we still need to tackle the rent issue, but broker fees are also an issue in the city.
This is likely going to pass. It seems like you have the votes, right, for a near veto proof. So if it does, how soon could it go into effect?
Absolutely. So it depends on if the mayor signs it into law or not. If he does not sign it into law within 30 days, then it will automatically become a law of New York City after 30 days. And then after it becomes a law, 180 days after that.
Let me ask you just on the flip side of things, right? Because some are going to say, well, what about the broker, right? They're going to lose money. They're not going to be able to make a living, so on and so forth. But when you look at elsewhere in the country, there's kind of a precedent for this kind of thing, right?
Yeah, so I'm not anti-broker. You know, when I was looking for an apartment, I actually ended up hiring a broker myself to find myself an apartment. I believe that there are so many professional brokers out there who will still be with a job. I also do believe that there are some brokers out there who don't show up to the listings, right? Who are rude or misogynistic or even racist to prospective tenants. And I do believe that they'll have trouble keeping work.
And you're holding a rally today.
Yes.
Correct, right before the vote. So tell us a little bit about who you anticipate to show up and what you hope to
Absolutely. So
accomplish.
many people think I worked on this bill alone, but I built a huge coalition. We have nearly every single labor union in the city who have supported this bill, dozens of different organizations, tenant groups, and even brokers who are supportive of this bill. So they will be showing up at the rally, speaking from their perspective in terms of why this bill needs to pass.
I know we got to go. Just to clarify on the broker thing, if someone does hire a broker, then obviously they pay that broker, right?
Absolutely.
So this is for more of the Zillow kind of listings you find yourself.
Yeah.
That's the mystery broker who you never kind of meet. That's what
Exactly,
you're talking about
exactly.
here, right?
We're replicating how every other industry works in this
Okay.
country. Whatever you hire, whatever you order, you pay for.
Exactly.
Great. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.